but we let you dictate that. I'm sure that you might want to be a little bit more professional. It's entirely up to you, though. You can let the curse words fly or keep it clean. It doesn't matter to us.
Well, representing these big corporations and the small moms and pops, typically I'm reasonable on these types of things.
Okay.
The rougher conversations are one-on-one or out in the woods.
Yep.
Yeah, around
100%. Yeah, that's we'll try to match. Okay.
You hear that, Jose?
Looks like we're streaming.
Copy that.
Yeah, so the backstory there is
we tried for a while.
For years it was a clean show. And then Jose decided to every once in a while drop in an F-bomb just to be funny, and I had to search through the entire recording to find it to edit it out.
And then in the chat room, people would goad him on, like, "Come on, Jose, do it."
People would try to get him to do it, and so eventually I just gave up and let it fly. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Hey, baby. Yep, she's out there. She just finished eating, and I told her to answer the phone if you call. Okay, love you. Bye. Sorry, my wife is traveling, and she said she forgot it was Tuesday, and she just tried to call. Okay, it's 6:30. We are on. All right. We will get started without Casey.
We are streaming.
Perfect.
Already?
I know, dude. I told you, Fred. Everybody just gets in the chat room, makes fun. The second comment in our chat room is, "What's up, men?" and Cody. Fortunately, I have no self-worth. So
you know how it is
okay.
in construction. If the guys are making fun of you, that means they like you.
These people must love me.
They do.
Yeah, Sid. The other day they said I look like Sid from what's that called?
Ice Age.
Ice Age, yeah. So,
ouch.
We will.
That's funny.
I think I compared you to Steve Buscemi as well.
So I think that the takeaway is I'm not a very attractive man.
I think we were talking about who would play you in the Trail Chaser movie.
Steve Buscemi's high.
And I said, nah, Steve Buscemi.
All right, that's enough of that. So I already feel bad enough about who I am as a person. I don't need your guys' help.
All right, I'm sorry. Well, he's a very successful actor.
Yes, I'm not. I'm not any of those things. I'm not successful.
Not any of those.
You could.
So a little background on me, if you guys watch Yellowstone at all, that is my theme. I'm not necessarily as mean as any of those people, but that is my mission. It's about protecting what I have.
Okay.
Oh.
I need to watch that. Everybody talks about how good it is. I've not watched it yet.
Neither.
You'll be amazed.
Yeah. All right, so we're not going to wait for Casey. It's already after 6:30. Fred, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Guys, you ready?
Sure.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. It is 6:30 on Tuesday night. We are live on YouTube as we are every Tuesday night. This week, we are joined by Fred Wiley from ORBA. That's the Off-Road Business Association. How are you doing tonight, Fred?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me.
Oh,
I really think this is going to be fun.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate you coming on.
We'll ask you afterwards.
Yeah. We'll get an actual opinion from you later because you might regret this. So ORBA, Off-Road Business Association, you can find them at orbabusiness.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/orba.biz. And for those of you that aren't familiar, ORBA is an organization that's a leader in providing trail advocacy and all of the things that we do in our off-road overlanding space is supported by ORBA as a whole. And I'm sure I'm not doing it justice. Fred, do you want to give us like the 30-second background of ORBA?
Yeah, the Down and Dirty is 20 plus years ago, a gentleman by the name of Roy Denner in the San Diego area decided that it was time that we do a better job of what we're doing of keeping public land open. he knew that it's going to take a lot of money. He wanted to bring in professionals, and therefore he went to the corporate side of our industry and said, hey, we need to do this differently, and we need to step up and bring in professionals. That's where myself and our team came from. It is our job from the corporate side to connect the grassroots to the corporations, but at the same time keep all lands open, public, private, the dunes at Pismo, wherever you think about, that's where we're at.
Yeah,
that's the hot one.
I was going to say, you mentioned Pismo, and that's constantly in my feed, and it's Pismo is one of those places we grew up off-roading, and I absolutely loved it. So when you 20 years ago the organization started, when did you become part of the organization?
2005. I kept running into Roy at different types of meetings, BLM, Forest Service, state parks, all of those kinds of things, and so I was working in the snowmobile industry, winter recreation more than anything at the time. And Roy kept coming over to me and he said, Fred, you need to come talk to us and see what we can do moving forward. And I said, look, Roy, you're a great guy, but you're way too far to the right for me publicly. And so I said, let's see what we can do later on. So he called me again. He said, come on down, let's talk. And this is in San Diego. It's where Orba started. So we went down and come to an agreement of figuring out how to play, who could play good cop and who could play bad cop. Mm-hmm. But our theory and our work is based on the fact if you're not at the table, you're not going to get anything done. And sometimes table pounders don't get there.
Yeah. That's I think that's a very good point for people to think about, is like all of the things that we do from an off-road outdoor recreation perspective. There's a lot of stuff going on around that as far as regulations and rules and what have you. And we're out there enjoying it as enthusiasts. We're not, in a lot of cases, especially 20 years ago, weren't really plugged into what was happening in the background. And we started seeing closures and restrictions and things like that. And it wasn't until organizations like this, like Orba, got involved on that side of the equation to be advocates for us out there in the world, that we were able to keep these public lands open and start advocating for those types of recreational activities. Coming from the winter sports world, are you, so you said you're in Bakersfield, right?
I know it sounds silly, doesn't it?
I was just going to ask, like, that doesn't strike me as like the mecca of winter sports.
So it kind of is to an extent. So the Southern Sierra Nevadas are at the edge of Bakersfield, and so all of the mountains to the east of us and north of us get good heavy snow. I think you saw Big Bear get buried this last winter. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we have a little ranch up there that's been in the family for 75 years. And so we wanted to go in the wintertime, so we got into snowmobiling to do that. One thing led to another. We needed trail access. We needed a lot of different things, to be able to do this in the wintertime. So I got into it there, worked my way over about 10 or 12 years up to the international level. I negotiated at the time with the Russians and Swedish to bring them in at the international level, and hosted several conferences in North America to just discuss snowmobiling and advocacy, how we move it forward, all of those aspects. But to step back a little bit, I've always worked in public relations, worked for Mercedes-Benz back in the 80s as public relations, General Motors the same way. So public relations, figuring out how to keep people happy, keep products moving forward, and make sense of everything is my real background.
Okay.
So when I met Roy, I'd always done summer things, but in the mountains, when you have a ranch, summer's work time. It's not play time. Mm-hmm. Winter's when we would play. So it worked out that way for me. I have UTVs now, side-by-side, ATVs, no more dirt bikes, but don't get a chance to use them because, taking care of the ranch and all of those things eats up my summertime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, if I had a ranch in the summertime, I'd build a track in the back.
Well, I just use the dirt bike
just
to go
race,
fix the fence line or something.
Yeah.
well, here's the deal with my area is our former president, Mr. Clinton, came in and created the giant Sequoia National Monument. We had to fight to keep our private property because people don't live in national monuments.
Oh, wow.
So that was part of it at the political world. We went all the way to the Supreme Court. We did not win, but we did manage to keep our private property within the Giant Sequoia National Monument. So you learn through those processes, personal battles for what you believe in, moving forward, and you begin to apply that in a lot of different areas. It ended up land use where, whether it was Mercedes, GM, or whoever it was, is the groundwork and the training to work with people and then moving forward. If you can't resolve situations, no matter where you're at, you're not doing your job.
That's interesting how the public relations field translates so smoothly into what you're doing now, from a perspective of the skill sets and things that you learned in that corporate life, and how it kind of helps you with what you're doing today.
Yes. I'll reference some other things. If you remember Johnson Valley issue that we had starting in 2010, we met, worked together, brought together huge groups. Well, Orba and our team are who laid the structure out for that win. Understanding you're not going to beat the Marine Corps at their game. If they want something, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
So our concept was, we're not going to fight with the Marine Corps. We're going to bring to the table a concept of what we call share use. They use it when they need it, and then they hand it back over to us. That was a team effort by a lot of people that worked out well.
And now that you mention that, back in 2010, it was a big issue. I think it recently popped up a couple years ago with some additional annexations they were looking for. But for the most part, I feel like that Johnson Valley area has been stable for quite a while. Would you agree with that?
It is stable, and we do still every day, not every day, but on a regular business basis, we communicate and work with the Marine Corps in Washington, D.C., at the Pentagon, and several other places. Again, when it comes to the world we live in today, you need to bring answers. You can't just fight. I think we've learned that with our new congressional leader, Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House. Kevin is my congressman. We have dinner 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
So we have direct access through those personal relationships. We build a team. We build the answer. We see what will work, what won't work. And sometimes it takes a long time to make all that work. So it is about figuring out how to move things forward and not lose.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I feel like, going back to 2010 or 20 years ago when you said you started this, I feel like it's probably been an uphill battle and gotten harder rather than easier over the course of the last 20 years. Would you agree with that?
Well, there are certain aspects that are harder. We have to remember that every place we want to recreate, especially in the West, is controlled by the administration, which is the president's office. Congress makes the rules, but the administration controls those. Every time you get a change in the administration, you get a change in policy. So you have to understand where the different administrations are going to work and move forward, what you can do and what you can't do. We can win with opposition. In fact, President Obama is the one who signed the Johnson Valley project in December of 2015. So Democrat bought it. So what we did is we found a way where they had to buy into it because we presented it in the National Defense Authorization Act, where Congress said, you guys need money to keep your military moving. We want this in that as well. So you figure out how to leverage the different administrations and people that are there. And you do it one way today, and next week it may be a little bit different.
Yeah, and I'm sure each administration and each agenda is different, and coming up with a solution for one is going to be different than it was the last time, and that's probably a constant moving target for you and your team.
It is, very much so. The main thing is to continue with your relationships at all different levels, so as everything changes, you still have a place to go and present your wares, so to speak.
In the general landscape of your projects right now, what is the most critical area that you're working on or worried about right now?
So there's several things. The BLM is presenting a new management plan that is a complete pile of junk. We will be working on that. The Forest Service will will follow suit. But I have to say this, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but the modern UTV user is not the same as we have typically seen OHV folks in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So our goal right now is somehow, how is it that we acclimate them into a system where kind of some of the old rules are going to prevail, whether you like it or not. But we still want you to have fun. So working with Matt Martelli and the guys at Tread Lightly, SEMA sits on our board of directors. So our biggest project right now is how is it that we figure out this new user group and how to bring them into the fold and not restrict, their personal values.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think you're sorry, Matt, but I don't think you're offending anybody because this is all stuff we've already said.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we've discussed this a number of times. If I can jump to a conclusion, we're talking about etiquette, right? Like, and use of our land,
and pack it in, pack it out, and tread lightly, and all the things we've talked about this multiple times,
exactly.
and we go back to
the barrier to entry is so low now.
Yes,
that you can finance these things for 20 years.
Yeah.
Have $200 payment, and then everyone just buys them, and they didn't grow up doing this.
Yeah. No.
They didn't know anyone growing up doing this. So now the trash and all that stuff.
And I think it's very different than when I got in. I was 19 when I got my first off-road truck, and it was very much like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's no internet. There's no Instagram. So it was go to the store, buy all the magazines.
Before the internet?
It was before cell phones. Before
what?
Yes. So
you had that Model T off-road.
Yes,
version.
you had to crank the thing in the front of your CJ7 to get it started.
You had the four-wheel just to get around.
Just to get to
there
work.
Was no paved roads. That's incredible.
My point being is like the only information you had was available in magazines, and every magazine had some portion dedicated to the pack it in, pack it out, tread lightly principles. And so you kind of picked that up as you were learning. And then when you went to somebody to, ask for help or whatever, it was an older wheeler that was like, okay, make sure you bring a trash bag and make sure you do these things. Mm-hmm. To your point, Jose, somewhere in the last 10 to 15 years when UTVs became a thing, there was none of that. It was literally buy it at the showroom and drive it to dirt. Yeah.
And buy the trailer and finance it all and then just go on the weekend.
And we've had some conversations with Matt about, the Tread Lightly stuff. He's been on the show and I feel like there's a way to do this, to educate, to what you said was bring them into the fold and still help them find ways to enjoy the outdoor off-roading the same way we do.
Yes. So the other thing that we have seen fade over the years is that clubs and associations are not popular anymore. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of online stuff that goes on. So a lot of the connectivity came from club events or club meetings, kind of handing down what went on and how you move forward and educating people that way. So I don't know that we'll ever go back to where that used to be, but it makes it today's world for me, communications is probably the hardest thing. That's why shows and events like this are super important. We need to get the word out that we know how to keep this land open, but if all we're doing is stirring up dust and trash and making noise, places like Moab and Sedona, and we're going to lose them. Mm-hmm. We're already beginning to lose some of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think part of the problem too is that the laws and stuff, the trail laws, is like they segment that population of the off-road community to the tone thing. So it's like they don't know any better. It's just they're going to stay within their own little area that they're allowed to, because they're not you can't just drive around in those things up in Big Bear.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they opened up all trails to all motorized vehicles, like even ATVs and the other people that are already like Jeepers and off-road, will hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Or going back to what Fred was just saying about the clubs, like if there were more clubs and organizations that were intermixed with, your off-road or your overlander and your UTV, there'd be a sharing of ideals. And we're so segmented as a society sometimes where the rock crawlers don't want to talk to those overland lame guys, and those overlanders aren't, talking to the UTV guy. Yeah. And so if you get a group of, I say group, not necessarily an organized group, but like a group of individuals that start UTV going out on UTVs together, the only thing they know is what they already know.
Yeah, and I think if you were to open up more access for the UTV crowd, when they start getting on the trails that they weren't allowed to before, and they see other vehicles, they're going to be held accountable. Like, people are not going to be taking you can't just leave all your trash here. Like,
no, yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Well, I don't know.
Catch-22 though, like how long?
What do I know?
How long will it take for them to be educated before they destroy the trails?
Well, the other side of that too, and I think the manufacturers have some blame to take in this, is when you present a 200 horsepower turbo model, whatever, and try to put that on a mountain trail at Big Bear, that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That belongs, an Imperial or someplace like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't educate the customer. It's all about, here's the horsepower, go use it.
Yeah.
And the law requires the user to understand what the rule is. It's just like your driver's license. You're supposed to know what the law is, period. So I think there's some work to be done there, but I'm going to lead into a little bit different segue. Within Orba, we have several different components. One of those components is what we call our One Voice program. And that is a linking together of all OHV people around the country. We now have 26 states, 3 Canadian provinces, Alaska just joined, and that is a communication system where you bring your problems to the Orba team on a call, and we filter through the problem and try to help you get a direction. And when it's time, we take that to industry and bring their support financially.
Interesting. And so when you say problem, are we talking about trail cleanup? Are we talking about safety equipment for UTV riders? What types of problems are you seeing in that forum?
It's a little bit different based on where you're at. So, for example, New York State, because of their insurance rules and laws, has just lost its ability to insure their trail systems. So we stepped up and brought in some professional insurance groups from around the country. We should have that solved in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
So what happens is these independent groups have issues. It's going to be different depending on where you're at. Mm-hmm. So we try to break it down regionally, have the discussion, hand it off to our team. And I have to say we have the highest trained and educated OHV team in the country. We all ride something.
Mm-hmm.
So we have managed nonprofits. We have attorneys. The team is professional at all levels. And then we decide from a team perspective what the alternatives are. Do we go back and help it at an individual level with an answer there? Is it a simple answer or not? And then we take it to industry, our board of directors, and they provide their corporate knowledge. And all of them are off-roaders as well. You might imagine Greg Adler with 4-Wheel Parts, Brad Franklin with Yamaha. They're all off-roaders as well. So they get the concept. They add the value to this, and they'll add their dollars at the same time.
And those that one voice council, if you will, is that just made up of all of the different member organizations, or is there a specific subset that's participating in the one voice? Anybody
can join.
Okay.
Anybody can come in, and I can't tell you. I mean, Southern 4-Wheel Drive has 12 states. New York has the largest registration program in the country. Vermont, New Hampshire, everything is a little bit different because there's a mix of public and private land trail systems. So we have staff that's from that area. We have staff from the West, Upper Midwest. And so we understand how to work within those areas to bring answers from our side to help those groups who are struggling to make it work in their areas. Alaska, I don't know if you know very much about federal grants, but Alaska had a series of grants working for them and their OHV world, and they got a new governor, and he appointed a new guy, and he took the grants away.
Oh.
So we made a few calls and let them know who to talk to and what to say, and within 40 days they had their grants back.
Oh wow! Well, yeah, and you know what? I think let's give people the benefit of the doubt, right? So if someone new comes into an organization, a government organization like that, and they look at this, there's a grant, there's X amount of dollars of grants going to trail such and such. Who cares about that? Like if someone's
right.
if someone's not maybe it's not manipulative or malicious. Maybe it's just ignorance. They've never gone out on a trail. They didn't think anybody used those trails anymore, you know, and just knowing who to talk to say, hey, wait a minute, you took all that money away. Here's all the good things that we were using it for that you didn't know existed. And, you know, kudos to you guys to get someone in government to change their mind.
Well, exactly. And I'll go back to President Obama. As much as you may have felt that he was not on our side, he told the Bureau of Reclamation to do an economic impact study on recreation in the United States. It's $862 billion. Mm-hmm. It's larger than oil and ag. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Recreation is one of the largest industries in this country. When you have the ability to take facts from the federal government to a local governor, it wakes them up.
Yeah, especially if those facts include the real dollars of this is what your state will lose in tourism and commodities and consumerism if you take this away.
For example, Johnson Valley, if King of the Hammers went away, that was $76 million away from the local economy.
Yes. Wow. Yes, that entire valley exists for one week of the year. They're the equivalent of a Christmas tree farm. They make all of their money in 2 weeks, and then they just coast the rest of the year.
We got to open up something there.
Yeah, exactly. And so out of the goodness of those people, as rough and rowdy as they can be during the event, they do a lot for that entire community out there year round. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got the District 37 of AMA guys that hold about 30 events a year out there on weekends. They buy gas, chips, water, beer, whatever they need to buy while they're out there recreating. So we just what happens is there are many organizations that are great at dealing as an organization at a local level, but they don't have the professional staff to do what we do. So what we need from them is we need their story and their information because we can't be everywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't know everywhere. Mm-hmm. I need your story. Mm-hmm. We have a team that can help figure out what you need, but we need to know the facts and the data from your area.
And so let's talk about those professionals a little bit. How did Orba go about identifying what professionals they needed and then getting those people to come on board?
So just like most any industry, you kind of bump into people that are doing similar things to what you're doing, and you either can work with them or you can't. And then you sit down and decide, the team develops a direction, what works, what makes sense, and a comfort level within the team. And then those people kind of surface over a working relationship over time. You don't create a land use consultant in college. It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's experience that they have gained by working. For example, Alexis Nelson, our East Coast person who happens to live in Reno, moved out here, is tired of the snow in Maine and Vermont, but she managed the largest nonprofit in the Northeast for 13 years.
Okay.
And so she did all of the things it takes to manage, and it's an off-road nonprofit. $5 million a year was their budget.
Wow.
So I met Alexis and her dad years ago. My wife and I had dinner with them at another event, and we just stayed on as friends. And as both of our lives changed over the 20 years or so, we saw the talent that each one of us brought to the table, and that's how we do it. Mm-hmm. So we do that with Scott Jones, one of our attorneys out of Colorado and Texas. We look at David Hubbard, our attorney out of San Diego, who's the lead attorney on Oceano.
Okay.
You find the people who like the way you present yourself and work and how you develop information and data, and then that's how you build your team.
Got it.
You can't run an ad. That doesn't work.
How many people are on the Orba team right now?
There's 7 right now.
Okay. I feel like you could probably use 17 more, right?
Well, if I had the money.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of work to be done. And so that goes to the other side when you look at partnering with corporations and other businesses. So Matt Caldwell and I started out because Tread Lightly was stumbling a little for a while. And then Matt came aboard, and we saw eye to eye, and we looked at some different projects that we can work on together. Right now, we're targeting Sedona. But the theme of Tread Lightly is a core theme to what we need as a tool to keep public land open. So that's a tool in the toolbox, just like an attorney is a tool in the toolbox. How you put those tools together and those people is the important part. That's my job. I put people together to try to make things work. So you can look at development of different things. And so from Tread Lightly, I want to go to SEMA. Mm-hmm. So SEMA supports us in a very, very big way. I have lunch or dinner with their president 2 or 3 times a year. Their Washington, D.C. staff is on our board of directors. I brought their vice president to Bakersfield to meet Congressman McCarthy when he became speaker. Those are the kinds of teamwork people that you need out there. But it took time to develop it to where they trusted us and we trusted them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. So when the day come, they said, Fred, tell us what kind of check you need.
Yeah. I was going to say, and I would think that not only trust, but over time, you and your team develop an understanding of what levers need to be pulled based on what the existing administration is trying to accomplish, whether that be, money savings or conservation or what have you. You know what I mean? I feel like someone like you and your team has to be very plugged into what's happening, not only environmentally, but politically at all times, to be able to move those chess pieces on the board to have the right outcome.
Yes. So you're exactly right. You have to decide, as you said, what lever to pull and when. So we can go back to Johnson Valley and talk about what we had to do there. A part of bringing the teams together meant we brought everybody together. There was nobody eliminated. I think the number was $750,000 worth of product and work that we did for that project. But we brought in another lobby firm in Washington, D.C. that were retired military. We knew that we had to understand how the military worked to accomplish our goals. And they helped us set that standard.
Yeah.
It wasn't something we knew automatically. So once again, if it's economics or military or conservation, you find out who the key people are to help you get those things done.
Yeah. And I that's genius. Like the idea of bringing in ex-military to get the behind the curtain understanding of what, well, if you say this, and sometimes it can be as simple as just the verbiage.
Yeah. Verbiage or the phrasing
or the vernacular. Like if you say this is how they're going to receive it. And they're going to be in opposition immediately. This is what they mean when they say X. And being able to identify who those key players are and and getting them involved in your efforts is probably a PR skill set that you've developed over a long time.
Well, it does take a lot of work there, and you're exactly right. When I said we knew that we couldn't fight the Marine Corps and win, that was pretty simple. But what tactic is it going to take to equal that out? And that's where we needed the help from other professionals. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everything that we do at Orba has a business plan and a financial plan. No matter what project we take on, we have to lay it out in a way. You're talking to corporate leaders, the CEOs of these major companies, the bean counters, their attorneys, and everything you can think of. You better be prepared if you're going to get into their wallet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what we bring to the table, which I think sometimes is a little more difficult for the local clubs and associations, is that they haven't been able to create that conversation.
Well, and they may not even know where to start, right? I mean, just because someone has a large, I think about the Tierra del Sol event down in Ocotillo Wells by Red Rock, right? Red Rock 4-wheel drive club has been around for 100 years
forever,
and they're probably one of the largest, most prolific Jeep clubs in the state, and they probably have some good connections, but I don't know that they're having dinner with their local congressman twice a year. You know what I mean? There's a limit. Right. There's a limit to their reach in some cases, and that's where you guys have the ability. This is what you do, right? And that's where you guys are able to bring additional resources to the table.
Yes. So again, that connection on the ground. So the Red Rock Four Wheelers are in Utah, and the San Diego group is, Southern California. None of the people that are representing them I'm not a constituent to them. I mean nothing to them.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say John Green over here lives in your district, their ears perk up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to help him out getting what he needs. So that's why I say we have to connect the people on the ground to industry to make this work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. And I feel like, unfortunately, as the off-road and overland sport and community grows, as it has in an exponential rate over the last 5 years to 10 years, it, I think, puts that much more strain on your organization. Is that an accurate assessment?
Well, a strain is an interesting concept to look at. If we can communicate amongst ourselves and find common interest, it makes my job a lot easier. So one of the things I fear within the overlanding groups is they don't understand that they're facing the same issues of closure that the off-road groups are facing.
Mm-hmm.
Those rules are going to affect them. And so let's say you leave Florida and you want to overland in Montana and you think, I'm going to go up here and build a campfire along this stream, and you get there and you get a big old ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because they're not engaged locally to know and see what's happening. And if they love that area, they should be engaged in making sure they get to use it in the way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I see the missing link in the overlanding groups, and the ability to communicate them. They're good people, don't get me wrong, but they think we're all idiots. And I could say maybe they're right.
Well,
in some cases.
I was going to say, I think in each case, or in each niche of what we do, whether it be rock crawlers, off-roaders, overlanders, UTVs,
hybrids,
adventure moto, whatever, there's always a group of idiots in each one of those groups. And
yes.
Unfortunately, the idiots are the ones that get the most airtime and views in comparison to the people that are doing it correctly and trying to advocate for these things.
Yes.
And that's just the reality of most of our society today, is sometimes the worst players get the most airtime. And but I think doing what you guys are doing and bringing those groups together, at least to the table to have a conversation, is how it all starts.
It is. And so honestly, I know that I live by a theory of recreation is we go down the highway with our equipment and we all meet at a trailhead. Some of us are going to be overlanding. Some of us are going to be in a Jeep. Some are going to be on a quad. So we use that staging area as the point to start. And then we design the system where we are together for just a little bit. And then we go on to an area that is conducive to what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we respect what the other people want to do and don't interfere with that, but we don't lose our opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
think that's an important point, is the respect of what I am not a UTV guy. I know plenty of people that are. I've been in UTVs in Pismo and Glamis. They're super fun. It's not something that I personally want to do at this time in my life. And I don't think a person in a UTV inherently doesn't deserve respect. And whether someone's in a UTV or a bike or a Jeep or whatever, it's their actions in the environment on the trail that will determine whether or not they get respected. Because I've been in UTV environments where plenty of UTV people have said, "Oh, hey, stop! You're doing this incorrectly. Clean up your mess. Let's make sure we don't do this." And that's just indicative of them understanding what we need to do. I'm not sure exactly what my point is, but just the ability to respect each other for the different types of sports and activities that we do seems to be there. We just have to remember that just because we had an experience with one guy on a KTM dual sport and he did something stupid and it pissed you off, like, Jose, then it doesn't mean that all guys on KTM dual sports are idiots.
I get it. I completely get it. And so that's the issue. I mean, we see it everywhere. User conflict has been on the table for decades. It's not going to go away. It's how we we figure out how we're going to eliminate or reduce it as much as possible. So there's another theory that I have been working on at the national level, is most of the funding for projects on federal and state land is funded through either registration or fuel tax rebates. Because when you don't fix a highway with the gallon of gas you bought, the tax from that money comes back to a program. The problem is that there are a lot of users out there that are not registering, and they're not accommodating the fuel side of it, but they're drawing from that money.
Mm-hmm.
And so that seems somewhat unfair. So my push today is to bring equality. And so maybe if you look at the fact, if you boat, fish, hunt, you have to have a permit or a license almost for everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why isn't the OHV community looking at it the same way? I think Glamis is doing it.
Yeah.
Pismo and other areas.
Yeah.
Why can't we apply that principle everywhere to everybody?
I know for like 2023 and 2024 dirt bike model, like they're not even issuing. California's not even issuing
green sticker
or licenses to some.
Really,
to a lot of them.
Really.
Yeah.
That's a very confusing issue. It's part of the old red sticker program, and so it's going to get itself worked out. There's a bill in Sacramento now.
Okay.
We'll see where that goes. But the red sticker vehicles are race vehicles. They're not compliant with air quality standards, and so it's been controversial for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just have to see how that shakes out. KTM doesn't build a green sticker vehicle.
They're all plated, or either plated or
they're all plated. Yeah. So that's a separate issue. But if you look around the country, if you look at the fact with the new e-vehicles that we're seeing everywhere, the e-bikes, hikers, backpackers, cross-country skiers, they don't pay into this system at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem fair.
Well, and there, to your point, there are Pismo, Glamis, the Oregon sand dunes. There are places that already do that. There's the San Bernardino National Forest Adventure Pass, where you can buy the Adventure Pass. But I was just trying to look at the link that says where it is required and where to purchase the pass. Like we go up to Big Bear all the time, and there have been times where I've had the Adventure Pass on my truck and not, and I don't know. And
you buy it at the Ranger Station.
I know the audio is probably jacked up on my headphones, but so the California Adventure Pass, it used to have to have it like anywhere you go. Now you only have to have it if you're going to park somewhere that's maintained by like the city, county, or state. Like somewhere where tables, bathrooms, fire pits, barbecues, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But just to park, it used to be like even to park along the highway, just to hike, you had to have it. Now that's gone away. So it's only to use, or if there's snow. Mm-hmm. If there's snow, then you need to have it to park pretty much anywhere. At least up here in Big Bear, down the lake, you have to have it.
Thanks for that info.
Because they use that money to clear the snow park. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute that guy
what
again.
Was that?
Some weirdo.
It was like a ghost.
It was like a weirdo that hasn't said anything all night because his phone's messed up and he can't log in on his computer because he's dumb.
I hate Wi-Fi.
He sounded like a pretty wise ghost to me.
He's a smart guy, but
very knowledgeable.
That's Fred. That's my brother who logged in late because his computer wasn't working, and for some reason he's wearing underwater headphones that you can barely hear. I don't know.
Underwater headphones. Yeah. Okay.
So
that's why we couldn't hear him.
Yes,
because he had headphones.
I'm down here on the submarine checking out.
I gotta say, he's probably underwater.
It sounds like it.
So, but to your point, I do feel like there is a way to establish a mechanism of microtransactions that would create an influx of revenue for you guys to do what you need to do. And so instead of like large scale taxes or large, just a $5 pass every time you go on the trail, or a $15 yearly pass for X, Y, and Z, or, you know what I mean? Those kinds of small I'm going to say insignificant
donations.
Purchases. Yeah. That essentially become donations.
Yeah. But then who's monitoring that? Is that like the local?
Well, you set it up in the policy.
Does it go into the general fund?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole back end process for that.
Okay, I don't have to worry about that.
You don't have to worry about that. Look,
okay, that's good.
Yeah. That's my job.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
I trust Fred. I don't want you involved.
Okay. I'm out.
But yeah, to your point, I do feel like there's a way to do that and help generate more money. And I do look, no matter what you do, whether it be in the form of a pass purchase or a tax, there's always going to be opposition, and valid points for and against. But I would suspect that in the off-road and overland community that is educated and aware of what's going on in our world, that the purchase of a pass to go wheeling for the day or an annual license, yeah, you $25 to purchase a annual pass for X, Y, and Z. I don't know that there'd be that much opposition to that in the core off-road and overland community.
So you have to do that in many of the northeastern states already, because they for example, there's no off-roading in Connecticut, so they go everywhere else, and so there's no way for them to pay into the system without a permit. Mm-hmm. So we call it pay to play.
Yeah. That's a good point, because if we go to Parker, Arizona and wheel for a week, there's nothing we're doing that contributes to the Parker, Arizona community or environment.
What are you talking about? I went to that Walmart
like
every day while we were there.
Probably spent
how many times, how many episodes have I talked about we need to make sure all of our runs now are within 5 miles of a Walmart?
Correct. You did prop up the community for a week.
Parker, they were very happy with the money, the dollars that I brought.
Yeah.
But that Walmart put it in the general fund.
Well,
yeah. But so that's a very good point. I and I'm sure someone like you or on your team would be able to lay out the guidelines and the pros and cons, and there's obviously cost in administering and monitoring a program like that, and what's the offset there. But I don't disagree with the idea of a pay to play program like that.
Well, it's going to be a little different in different places. I mean, Glamis is not going to work, in the middle of Wyoming.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we need to look at a structure and build a plan that works in a specific area. And again, I go back to hunting and fishing. How do you think they control deer population or fishing? Mm-hmm. You get a trout tag, or you get a buck license that's only good in a certain area. Mm-hmm. That's how you're able to monitor and control what's going on. That money stays in those systems. It doesn't go to general fund. Mm-hmm. And so they replenish the fish. They make sure the herd's healthy. They do whatever they can. And so I think we need to look at a system that may not be exactly like that, but something similar where the user can see value and participate in what they get. Mm-hmm.
Or you just charge every UTV owner like 58% tax on every UTV.
Sure.
You'd be like, you guys are going to mess it up. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you're buying a $30,000 UTV or a $20,000 KTM or whatever it may be, if you don't want to pay $35 to use it, or $10 a day, something's wrong with it.
I can't afford it because I spent my $20,000 on my KT.
Yeah, well, I was gonna make that point. Like, overlanders, as a rule, are spending $100,000 on stuff that they strap to the side of their truck. A $35 annual pass, or like you said, a $10 weekend pass, or whatever. That's just part of it, right? And I think that for those enthusiasts. Man, I'm probably going to get some hate mail for this, but for those enthusiasts, for those enthusiasts that, like I said, are educated and understand it, it would make the program like that would weed out the people that weren't going to take care of the trail anyways. Like anybody that's like, I'm not going to pay for that pass, is the same person that was not going to pack out their trash.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a good concept.
Yeah, so I would think it's almost
it's like
it's a weed out.
A gatekeeper.
Yes, it's almost a gatekeeper. Like if you're not going to pay to go if you're not going to pay the $15 fee for your adventure pass for the day, you're the same person that would leave a fire out there, that would leave trash out there, that would spin your wheels on the trail, then you're going to go someplace else anyways. right? And then I think that preserves the trails for the people that are participating in the solution.
Yes. Exactly.
Hate mail at cody@trailchasers.net.
Yeah, don't put out my email address.
No, they'll all blast me. Look. I don't envy you for having to come up with some of these solutions. No, I mean, all of this, the world that we live in today requires money to do things. And you need to get that money from someplace, whether it be people or governments.
Where do I get this?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any of it. I get my money from my wife because I'm unemployed and she takes care of me.
Can I get money from my wife?
Ooh, that's going to be a tough sell.
So let me throw out another theory. The federal government is running deficits. Do you think they should be maintaining trails or keeping the military going?
Ooh,
so if we understand that they don't really have the money to do this, we need to figure out how to make sure we keep doing it.
Yes.
And I'm going to use Yellowstone National Park as an example. I've been snowmobiling there since 1985. It was open. You paid $5 to go through. That's it. Today, you can't do it without modern equipment, guides, and everything else. And you have to buy a pass, not only for the park, but Idaho and Wyoming at the same time. So it's $300 just to go ride in Yellowstone, not counting your equipment and your trip.
Wow.
But we're still there, and we have the choice to go.
Yeah. Well, and I think so. Again, part of what you guys are also doing, bringing these organizations, these corporate organizations together as part of this collective organization, because their livelihood depends on it too. If you're a manufacturer of aftermarket parts for the off-road world and all of the off-roading goes away, you need to find a new job, right? So the idea that some of your member organizations that you have listed on your website here, they're investing their time and money and resources and capabilities to further the cause, because again, if using four-wheel parts as an example, if everybody stops off-roading, there's no four-wheel parts.
Right.
What kind of
so you know what our motto is? No trails, no sales.
Yeah. If off-roading went away, what kind of show would we have?
We'd talk about Marvel movies and conspiracy theories.
I'd go into mountain biking and cafe races.
Oh yeah, so
no
me and
off-road
Jose would have a podcast about conspiracy theories and Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't watch.
It's fine. It's fine. We're not for everybody.
You'd be right in line with everybody else. Don't worry about it. That every once in a while, this show goes down a random Marvel tangent, and we have half of the audience sticks around for it because they love it. The other half says, "I'm out."
So here we go again.
I'm out.
That's funny.
So there's another theory that I built a lot of our business plans around, and I have an old NASCAR background when Riverside was still open in Ontario.
Yep.
I used the structure that a NASCAR team uses as part of the business planning. Is how do you succeed at racing? You have to bring the right people together. You have to have a plan. You have to have the equipment. You have to know what you're doing. And so I've watched NASCAR evolve since I was involved in it in the mid-'70s to what it is today. And it's kind of searching today for what's next. Mm-hmm. But they're still out drawing on television a lot of other sports activities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still one of the largest attended events, sporting events every year.
So you kind of think about what is successful in our world, and you look at those models and try to replicate them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that'll go right down to the club level.
Yeah, and it's interesting you talk about the club. You brought this up a little bit earlier too, and I kind of skipped over it. But I remember way back in the day when I started wheeling, that was the thing. Like there was always a club somewhere in your neighborhood. There was, and they were big. Like if you were a Jeep guy, you were a member of one of 4 clubs here in Riverside.
I think those were gangs. For you. You grew up in Ontario.
I grew up in Ontario,
so
you got jumped in. You got jumped in, and you had to.
You're trying to.
You had to wear a certain color bandana.
Soil up your Jeep Club references there. And
no,
I know where you.
My point being, like, if you were a Jeep guy, you were probably a member of one of the 4 clubs here in the area, and I don't feel like that's the case anymore. I feel like those large clubs that had hundreds of members have separated into smaller Instagram cliques, like ours, and there's not this big. So getting the message out, the proper message out from one organization to its 100 members, it was easier than trying to get the message out to 58 different organizations with 10 members each. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. And so, do you all remember United 4-Wheel Drive?
I'm picturing I'm picturing
so
a logo
United
in my head.
United was the largest Jeep association in the country at one time, and they got themselves mixed up in a project in Tellico and lost it. And what happened is they ended up failing after that. So our board of directors goes back a long ways, and they said we cannot let the name of United 4-Wheel Drive go away as a national Jeep organization. Mm-hmm. That is now housed within Orba.
Oh, wow.
So we have a connection, and we manage United, and it's mainly a communication system now. Mm-hmm. But that's where we reach to the 4-wheel drive world. We use AMA to reach to the competition motorcycle world. We use USA, United Snowmobile Alliance, to reach their 350,000 members.
Really? Wow. I was going to say like 12, like 12 members.
No.
I thought you were going to stop at 350.
No, 350,000 members.
That's amazing. We
don't work directly with those members. We work with their parent structures.
But still,
we have at any given day the ability to bring 450,000 people to the table indirectly. We don't communicate directly. We communicate through their structures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is.
Would you like to see that number on YouTube?
Yes, for sure. That might that's a little bit more than the 12 listeners we have on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Like, just that number alone, the 350,000 snowmobile. I never would have thought of that. But there's so much of the country that is the primary form of recreation, 6 months out of the year, that we're just not even conscious of.
Yes.
It's just that much more. When you try to put together those communities of we say, like, the off-road business, the people inside your bubble, like off-roaders, overlanders, rock crawlers, snowmobilers, adventure bikes. You could even throw hikers and mountain bikers in there too, because they're on the trail system. You're now with those just 7 different communities, you're now touching almost everybody in this country at some point.
That is the purpose. We have to get the message. We have to communicate. It's not easy. We started that program in 2014 in Reno, Nevada. We invited the 50 top OHV groups from around the country to spend a day in Reno, and they created One Voice.
Oh, okay.
And so it was created from the managers of the associations, because they knew they needed to communicate better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with all those different communities, there's got to be a way to customize the message for each one of those communities and get it to where they are, right? Because Overlanders, for example, you get a good Instagram page on Overland, man, you can touch just about every Overlander in the world, because Overlanders love the Instagram, right? But I don't know that that's the same for snowmobilers or mountain bikers, or, you know what I mean? Every community has its chosen channel of media, and there's got to be a way to focus in on each one of those.
So that's where we look to folks like you and the Martellis and the Corey Sellers and the other folks like that. Matt Caldwell is great at communications. But the other thing you need to remember, snow's only there for a while. They park that snowmobile and go get on a quad, a dirt bike, or a UTV. Do any one of you just do one thing?
Matt doesn't do anything anymore.
I don't do anything anymore.
Officially out of the game.
Matt went and bought a Tesla, so he officially hasn't done anything.
I have those things. Like I have a dirt bike. I have a 4-wheel drive truck. They're all.
But that's my point. You don't do just one.
Yeah. Well, let's think about that for a second. Just as an opportunity to bash on Matt, he's got an off-road truck that doesn't work, a dirt bike that doesn't work, and a mountain bike that doesn't work because he won't pedal it.
It probably has flat tires too, so there's my excuse.
So I love it.
Now I have excuses. They're all valid.
Yes. So I love that he doesn't not do just one thing. He does everything.
Thank you guys.
Should we start a GoFundMe page for it?
100%. And then can you also fund somebody to fix those things? Like,
well, I was going to say we'll put it in a general fund and distribute it.
Yeah, I love this general fund thing. I gotta figure out how to finagle a general fund for me.
I at the table here
right now. My wife has access to our general fund, and it's
generally gone.
It's gone. There's never anything in
and that's probably why nothing works in your world.
That's right.
Yes. Exactly.
I'm joking with you.
That's
for sure.
100%.
But we have
you're letting me off easy.
Yeah, Fred. There's nothing.
Well, I'm pretty good at, but we have to stop thinking about people as single users.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, you could buy a Tesla. Somebody said I heard a Tesla.
Yeah.
Try to go to New York in that Tesla.
No.
You're going to go home and get that Jeep.
Yeah.
And buy gas.
Yeah. Well,
no, 100%.
And I think that if you look at those communities that we mentioned, the off-road, overland, rock crawler, snowmobiler, mountain biker, hiker, like there's a Venn diagram where they all come together in the middle. They all need outdoor recreation space. They all need
to go outside for all this stuff.
They all need funding for these things to be available. Yeah. They all need a certain equipment that can be sold by certain companies that matches everybody's needs. Like there's definitely the outdoor space community, even throw snowboarders in there, snowboarders and skiers.
Yes.
Like the outdoor recreation community, while they're disparate in their chosen forms of recreation, have a commonality that they all need to be able to do what they do.
Exactly. They got there somehow.
Mm-hmm. In Matt's case, it's rode with me.
Somehow I'll get back to 4-wheeling my truck. You know, it's just the general fund. I'm already Googling general fund.
General fund. There you go.
Yeah, I need to.
Well, create your own. Be creative with this, and then you control the general fund.
I see.
And you just figure out how you fill that general fund.
Mm-hmm.
And hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And hide it from a certain person that I live with that might be related. Don't say anything, Cody.
I won't say anything.
All right.
I just get 10%.
I think I said something earlier about life is about choices.
Oh, man. Fred, come on, man.
I feel like we could have Fred on weekly for counseling. Like we need Fred to come on so we can share the stupid choices we made for the week, and he'd be like, guys,
Matt, you have a choice.
Can we talk about Jose now?
Yeah. Oh no, Matt. Jose's made so many bad choices. It's not even worth getting into.
Jose.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still have hope. You still have hope.
Oh man, see that? Let's have more hope than you.
So there's another quick project that we took on in 2019. There's an organization called American Trails, and it's made up of all different kinds of users, but motorized had not been well represented. So they asked us to come to Syracuse, New York in 2019 and sponsor the motorized caucus to American Trails. It was the largest attended caucus there. We just did a follow-up in Reno. March or April, I don't remember. The motorized caucus, again, was the largest component with over 900 people attending. Oh. This is agency people, this is users, this is organizers. The motorized caucus is the most powerful caucus in recreation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because, and I'll tell you why that is. Because 80% of us are lazy and we want to get out into the world, but we don't want to pedal or run to do it.
Right. Depends on what you're riding. You may be pedaling or running. Depends on what you took off with.
Yeah, for sure. But more than once, I've had to pedal myself out of a situation. You know, Fred.
So the opportunity is out there to do a tremendous amount of good work The window is very narrow. We have an administration change possibly in 2024. We don't know what that looks like yet, but having the leadership and the ear of the leadership now in the House gives us that place to have the conversation. So my job today is to push that forward.
And I can't, you're doing one of those, you're doing something that is like, it's black box. It's not seen. Nobody knows it's happening. It's happening in the background, and 90% of us don't even think about it.
12 people know about it now.
But my point is, it's like, it's one of those things that you're doing that is extremely critical for us to be able to continue what we're doing. And I thank you and your organization for doing that for us.
You bet. The deals are all made in the back rooms and in the hallways. The public, I mean, we can't bring everybody in because most people can't be quiet.
I could see that.
Some of us have behavioral issues too. Like, you wouldn't want Jose in those situations. Like,
why not?
Just throwing curse words around like a sailor. Right. Just, you gotta have appropriate language skills.
Yeah,
Jose.
Nah,
you can't just
I don't have that.
You can't just go profanity.
We don't have that. We don't have that at all.
You guys have been good. You guys have been great
It's
tonight.
been very
You
hard.
made it easy for me.
we're
why
trying
Jose's so
really.
quiet.
That's why I haven't
As soon
said
as
it.
soon as you get off the phone, these guys are going to have a Tourette's spout and just lose their thing. Say all of the words that they've been holding in for the last last hour and a half. But
Well, you got to please your audience for sure.
First time
you
for
know,
everything.
publicly the world
we're
is
gonna
Start doing
very
that. We'll let you know.
okay.
yeah.
Well, you're still on, aren't you?
Yes, we are 277 episodes in, and no one's run us out of
There you
town
go.
yet.
So that's got to speak for itself. Just like us, you know, we're still here. We're still fighting. We have certain models for certain place. We're not giving up Moab. We're going to keep wheeling and riding in Moab one way or the other. I don't know how to get it all there yet, but we're going to do it.
Well, if there's anything we can do to help, if there's any way we can help get the word out or participate in any way, please let us know. Please let our listeners know. We will, again, we greatly appreciate the work that you guys are doing, and because we get the benefit of all of those efforts. And this has been an amazing conversation, and I really appreciate your time and willingness to share all of this with us. Before we let you go for the night, where's the best place for people to go, and what can they do to support your efforts?
So just go to the Orba website, take a look at everything. If you have any questions, there's a way to connect through the website to myself. And if it's something the staff needs to connect with, I'll send them, but somebody will get back to you. And it's about knowledge, what we know, what we can do. And again, I want to thank all of you for tonight too. This has been a blast. I've done several of these, and this has been fun.
Oh,
Well, thank you.
see, here's the thing,
Hey,
Fred. We're not very smart.
I believe him.
Yeah, we're not very smart, so we have to make up for it with comedy, and even then, we're not very good at it.
Dude, is that what this is?
So I've told you guys I've done part of my job for today, right?
Yeah, 100%. You sold me and all 12 of the listeners. I haven't been paying attention to the chat room, but I see Jose over there laughing, so I know there's been a lively chat room today.
They just to put it out there, they want us to say caucus again because they're
because they're 12-year-old boys.
exactly. They're
They're-
very excited
they're
about
all-
caucus.
they're
So there
all
you go, chat room.
Junior high, which is
Tell
why
him to look it up.
this is why they
Yeah,
listen
exactly.
to us. Yes.
Exactly. They're spelling it correctly though.
Yeah,
I'll give them that.
They know exactly what it means, but
I had to Google it.
well, Fred,
You got to find a place to tell your story and do your work, and that's really where our talent is. And then figure out what the plan is.
and whatever we can do to help get that plan realized and tell the story and reach out, please do not hesitate to contact us. We want to support what you're doing as much as we possibly can.
Will do. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Fred. You have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. So don't hang up. That's just where we're going to end
I won't.
the perfect. It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 whether or not people hang up.
Yeah. Well, they hung up. I guess. Let's move on forward.
Yeah. In all seriousness, Fred, this was amazing. The level of information that you provided was fantastic, and I thank you so much for being on the show.
You bet. We struggle to tell our story because so much of our work is done, behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, what is it that Orba really does? And this has given me an opportunity to tell that story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that very much.
And you did it in a way that really connected with our audience here in Southern California, with Johnson Valley, with Moab, with some of the things that we do.
Right.
So it made it,
right.
It brought it home. And I feel really, really good about it.
Pismo's like the
Pismo,
like the big one here, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we just finished on the 15th of June with 3 hours of oral argument at the court. We'll have an answer from the court within 30 days. To see where that's headed. It is our belief that the Coastal Commission has no authority over that piece of the beach because it was created in legislation prior to the Coastal Commission being formed. They have outstepped their boundaries.
When that does come down, if there's anything that you want to get out or that we need to let people know about, let me know. You're welcome to come back at any time.
We'll do that.
Even if it's
I'll do that through Corey, and then we'll connect however we need to. I love doing these things, but obviously time gets away from me with being busy. So, and if you want to do a follow-up sometime down the road, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
But this is about our team. It's not necessarily about me. It's about our team.
Yeah. But if you if in the future you've got a 5-minute update on something, you and I can just connect and do a quick recording, and then we'll clip that into the next episode just to get the word out. So
perfect.
It doesn't have to take up your entire night every time if you just want to give us an update.
There's another outlet for us.
Perfect. Anytime, man. So here's what will happen tomorrow. I'll edit this. I'll get it uploaded to the media host. I'll send Corey, all of you, and probably Corey is going to use it the most, all of the information with the social media posts and that kind of thing. The episode will be live Thursday morning for download on all the major platforms, and we'll start promoting people to go to hear the stories. So if there's anything you need between now and then, let me know. Or if after the episode comes out and we can help, just let me know.
We'll do, and Corey and I will figure out how we want, how we do it on our end. But we love what you guys are doing.
Well,
and so our other theory is the area code of 909 and 951 is the core of off-roading.
100%. That's where we're at. I was
exactly
born and raised in the 909, and then I wanted to elevate my status, so I moved to the 951.
That's why they call us the dirt people.
That's right. I embrace my dirt people title.
Yeah. Valley of the Dirt, 100%. Yeah, born and bred here in the 909.
I played golf yesterday at this fancy country club in Whittier.
Whispering Springs? Or
it was Friendly Hills, and I go, don't tell anybody I'm from the IE. I don't want them kicking me out of here.
They know.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that guy right there.
They take one look at you and
they
know.
IE. They let me play.
So we work with Lodestone Events, family events, and that whole group. Back in the day, Lindsay Hubley actually sat on our board of directors before she sold that bunch out. But there's always this dilemma between Sand Sports and Expo. There seems to be some kind of glass wall, and the people don't cross it one way or the other. We've never figured out how to make sense out of that. It's a totally different group of people.
It is.
Each one of those events.
It is. And for a long period of time, a good core group of my friends were very much sand people, and I still participated in the sand stuff, but it was not my primary thing. I'd much rather be in the off-road stuff.
Right. Gentlemen, I appreciate very much. If you need me, call. You have my number, email, whatever.
Will do.
If I'm available, I'll do it, or I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fred. You're the man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fred.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I'm going to take a quick break and check on the kid.
Ball liquor. Is the audio better? I just took the headphones off.
Yes, it's way better.
Much better.
They're cheapy headphones. Fuck this computer.
God. Jeez. Look at you. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
Fucking piece of
This
shit.
is some garbage. Thank you. Yes, I heard all that loud and clear. Jose, I had to go. I pulled this. I don't know what I did, but I'm used to having my chat off to the right, and then I pushed a button like a dummy, and now it's down underneath where I don't like it.
Well, you're zoomed in. Control minus.
You got the beans above the fray.
Yeah, you got the beans.
Oh shit. Okay, where am I at? All right. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah, hold on. Let me log into my Wi-Fi.
Jose, it's still doing it.
I don't know what you did.
Come on, man. Why don't you help me out? Why are you trying to withhold information from me?
What information?
How to put the screen back the way I like it.
I honestly don't know. I don't know how.
I don't believe you. All right. That's how we'll live. That's how we'll live now. I don't believe Jose anymore.
Once you shut down, it'll probably restart next time.
Probably not.
Okay.
It's Jose's fault.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, thanks to Fred for that conversation. That he was one of the most educated and well thought out, articulate people that's been on the show, yeah, and he will regret.
We're sorry for bringing you down,
yes,
sir.
he definitely lost a peg by being on this show for sure.
He probably had a lot of pegs though,
yeah,
maybe an overabundance of pegs.
He's got pegs to lose. Okay, I got a message from my wife a little bit ago who's traveling. She said, you guys need to talk about the grimace shake trend on TikTok. Does anybody know what this is?
I don't know what it is.
No, we don't.
That's what I said. Why? I don't know.
There's a grimace shake?
I don't know what the grimace shake is. And she said...
I would imagine it's like a fucking shake that's colored. What color is grimace? Green?
He's purple, huh?
Come on,
purple.
dude.
What's the matter with you? Shameful.
What's matter with me is that I don't know what color fucking grimace is.
Exactly. Number one.
Yeah, I don't know what's
purple.
worse. The fact that Casey doesn't know what color grimace is, or the fact that we all know what color grimace is.
So apparently people drink a grimace shake and then show pictures of themselves throwing up all over themselves and laying on the floor.
Oh, that's what that. Okay, that explains that picture that I'm looking at right now. Yeah. See?
I don't. I just.
Oh my god.
Are we gonna do that?
Yeah. Is that what we need to do? Can we go viral if we do that?
I've been doing that with Shamrock shakes for years,
dude. That's just another Friday night.
That's
the old.
What is the grimace shake?
It's a purple. It's a purple.
It's a purple shake from McDonald's.
Yeah. Look, that's what happens.
Got syrup in it.
Yeah. That was me and Jaeger.
Yes.
Why are people throwing up?
Because it has Jaeger in it.
Yeah, it's.
Anytime I eat anything dairy, that's what happens to me. It's just, but usually both ends. I didn't know that was popular.
You didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know you were a trendsetter on TikTok.
I'll take photos.
No, thank you.
Here I am, guys.
Oh man,
2 million views.
That maybe we need to research it and find out more.
I don't think so. I don't think at all.
There's like is this another ice bucket?
No, it's more of like a dumb trend.
Is it? It's like planking. Remember that?
Oh yes, I do remember that.
Or flash mobs.
Yes.
Nah, planking was better. That was like some people got hurt doing that.
In that way. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that was good.
From that perspective, we like it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a reminder, in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days, we'll be at Cabe Toyota in Long Beach, launching the new Cabe Adventure store. The 4 of us are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they have...
The 4 of us are going to be there on the microphone. Apparently, Jose may have something better to do that day.
What?
What?
When is it?
The 9th. It's been on the. So listeners, let me share something with you.
Do they accommodate?
This guy's gonna show up without his jersey on. I guarantee.
I I swear to you, I put shit in email form and text form and on calendars.
Invites.
And
yes
none of
no?
these guys pay attention
True or
to
false?
them. You did. You recently did. You were the only one that accepted the trail run invite for September.
Oh, well, I didn't.
I
Because I don't know. I don't know.
Did you,
about
Case? I didn't see it.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay. Yeah, these guys are the worst.
Can Jose call into the Cabe event? And we just put him on a tablet like
So
that
our
episode
one-
of
Big Bang Theory?
yeah, where he just wheels around.
Like
100%.
Demolition Man.
Our one Toyota owner isn't going to be at the Toyota event.
Yeah, exactly. The one Toyota guy is not going to be at Cape Toyota. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll be there.
Okay.
I asked earlier, do they accommodate Teslas there? Is there a place that I
You
can
should
plug
probably
in?
meet here and drive with me. We're not going to have that bullshit there. I'm not dealing with your bullshit. Excuse
I don't
me,
know,
guys.
man.
Is there a place where I can
we
plug
can-
in?
We can put it by the booth and plug our fridges into it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. He could back it up to the store and use one of the Titan packs to keep it charged up for the
Like-
day.
In between those like lulls when there's not that many people, if that happens, we can hop in it and play video games.
Oh,
No.
that's
Fart
true.
sounds.
We can have fart sounds when you hit the horn.
No.
All the kids will love it.
No.
I'll love it.
I'll love it.
So yeah, it's from 8 to noon. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a really good, very well thought out and executed social media commercial that went out for the
I
Cape
saw
Toyota
that.
event. That got
I may have glanced at it.
that got some fantastic feedback, critical acclaim. It was really good. If you haven't seen it, go to the Trail Chasers Reels and see how cool that is. The advertising caucus really liked the work I did.
Caucus?
No, caucus, not caucus. The way you say
like
it.
I gotta
No.
make caucus.
Look,
When are we going to present our caucuses to each
look,
other?
look. Matt has a
When?
Matt has a caucus story, but it's spelled differently.
Yes.
It's the funniest story
Oh, it's
I've
great.
ever heard in my life.
It's pretty fucking funny.
We're not
Yeah.
going to play it here. I think we've done it on the show before. That's a campfire conversation. The only way you
It's
get
been talked about.
I
on
know,
the show.
but you'd have to go back and find it. I don't even know when we've talked about it. If you want that story, you have to be at the campfire to hear it because it's that funny. And it needs to
What
be
are we doing at campfire?
I don't know.
Can I get a ride to the campfire? If I can get a ride to Cape Toyota, can I get
Oh,
rides to
man.
campfires now?
Yeah, Dave Fraser.
So the guy whose car doesn't take gas needs rides.
Yep.
That's
That's how he saves money. Just getting other people to take him places.
He's
He's
saving
saving money. He's saving money.
I haven't bought gas in a month.
How's that?
How's that car payment?
I still, you know what I like doing? Because I still stop by the gas station for like
course
Rockstar
you
in
do.
the morning.
Of
or
course you
whatever.
do.
And I like pulling up to the gas pump in an electric car. It's pretty great because then
Oh, if I
look
pulled
around,
up to the gas pump,
I look around and see if somebody's like, motherfucker.
yes.
you
If
get the fuck
I
out."
pulled up
And I
to
don't give
if
a
I was
shit.
sitting there waiting for a gas pump and a Tesla was
Yes.
parked there, I would run right into the back of that
Yes.
thing. I don't even care.
Yes.
I would. Oh man, I would murderate you.
So keep an eye out for a black Tesla with
Oh
red highlights.
man,
That's me.
That
pissing
would
people
be
off.
that would be the worstest. So
We see all those postings like, "Oh, Tesla, look at this bullshit," and it's like a line of
like-
Teslas waiting for to plug in somewhere,
like,
and it's
look
like,
at this-
"I'll never do that." Well, I'm just returning the favor. Like,
yeah.
Look at this
Check
fucking
this out.
Tesla. He's about to put diesel in his car.
Yeah, I would be so angry. I would be furious. So Dave Fraser asked the question
everything makes you mad. You're
Yeah,
easily
you're pretty mad
infuriated.
lately, dude.
Yeah, you've been.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fuse is getting shorter.
Is there a fuse?
Yes.
Like,
Oh, there's a fuse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Is it just always lit? Like
It's
Sounds like you
it's
need
like
your
it's
caucus
like
red
it's
or
like a
you need your caucuses aligned. your caucuses,
like caucus chakras.
chakras and caucuses.
The chakra caucus.
Oh.
Oh shit, we are 15-year-olds. I swear to you,
That's I tell everybody.
men's sense of humor peaks at like 15, 16, and it never really evolves from there. It just gets dirtier because you get older and you can say
and
more
dumber,
things.
yeah.
Yes, that's the reality. I don't know what's the I'm looking at our calendar. I don't see anything really going on the weekend of the 22nd. So maybe
I'd like to do something over 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Like a day run.
Yeah, maybe the first and what do I feel like there's something going on? Maybe the 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, it's America's birthday, bro.
On the 4th, not on the 1st
I
and 2nd.
I was thinking the 2nd or 3rd.
I don't know if I have the day off on the 3rd. You guys suck.
I couldn't help it. As I was doing it, I was like, that's fucked up. But I kept laughing, you know?
It is fucked up, but it's also very funny that I'm still unemployed. So yeah, maybe that weekend. I know
That's this weekend.
Holy shit, that is this weekend.
That's this weekend.
Maybe on the 3rd, we can.
That's what happens.
Like, you mean fucking a week from now?
Yeah,
right.
All right, well, we can talk offline and figure out if we're going to do something a day run. Where do you want to go, Case?
I don't know. I was going to do something close to home for me. Rattlesnake Canyon, White Mountain, something like that.
Yeah, Big Bear.
Why do they call it White Mountain?
Because
I don't know.
We could potentially do a Big Bear day run this weekend. Anybody in the chat room interested in a Big Bear day run this weekend?
The real Ghost Rider might come out again. I don't know.
You're gonna. I would pay to see you ride that bike through White Mountain.
Carlos?
Oh my God! You know what? Actually, I would not pay for you to do.
No,
please don't do that.
No, because he'd be.
Please don't
even
try
train
it.
wreck.
Yeah, you'd break something.
Really?
You saw
I'm going to drive in front of him, and I'm going to drag an air mattress behind him.
He needs one of those inflatable vests that inflates every time you fall down.
Those are one. No, you got to just refill them with the little.
The CO2.
Yeah.
But then you got to pack it all back in. Bullshit.
In.
Yeah.
Just inflated the whole. Drive around with it inflated the whole time.
It's inflated all the time.
So Tim says with Cody, Tim in the chat room says with Cody, everything is getting shorter. Joke's on you. It's always been short. It doesn't matter. Just
you're wrong, sir.
Yes, you're absolutely wrong. So I think a Big Bear day run this weekend would be fun. We'll talk about it offline to see if it makes sense for everybody. Jose with his new social schedule, it's really hard to tell if he's available. And then Matt doesn't have anything to drive. So basically, Casey,
with my new
schedule.
social
So me and Cody are going on a day run.
Casey and I might be going on a day run. So Jose, what's your social schedule been filled up with lately?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
Or what have you been filling?
Caucuses.
What's your social caucus look like?
Caucuses. So social caucus.
So stupid. So Dave says Monday would be perfect if we're chat room caucus voting.
The chat room caucus.
The chat room is no longer the chat room.
It's the YouTube caucus from now on.
I just hope and pray that Fred does not
doesn't
download this episode. These morons went on this podcast.
You know how many interviews we've had. So here's what I think happened. This is a total theory. When we have an interview that's like off the reservation, like funny curse words, our second segment is fairly mellow because we got out of our system. When we have a serious when we have a serious interview with someone that's got something to talk about or like professional in some way, as soon as they're off the phone, the floodgates open and stupidity just vomits out of our mouths. It's the dumbest. I hear, and there's so many times. There's been times where we've had people on the show where I'm like, oh my God, I feel like that was an amazing interview. I am so excited. And then Jose, fuck you, bullshit. Like immediately. And I'm like, why are we ruining this? But that's just who we are. It's absolutely who we are. So chat room caucus possibly this weekend. I will put some notifications out if that's what we're going to happen. Big Bear probably won't be too bad this week.
Fucking packed.
It's really packed. I was just going to say, no, I was going to say weather-wise.
Oh no, it's probably an amazing weekend, dude.
Yeah,
mid 90s in Fontana, I believe. So
it's gonna be like low 70s.
No, it's not. Big Bear Lake says it's gonna be 87 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday, and 83 on Monday.
Coming at you.
Sounds like pool weather to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's 77, 72 today, 71, 77, and then Friday, boom, it shoots up to 84, 87 on Saturday, 84 again on Sunday, 83 on Monday.
Okay.
It sounds like people are pushing for Monday. Are you guys working on Monday?
Dude, like everybody in the office is putting in for Monday to have Monday off. And so this is like one of those, I want to take Wednesday off.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be a shit show.
Monday's rookie hour.
Yeah.
So I'm
Wednesday's
gonna tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to go in Monday and there's nobody's going to be there. It's going to be, those are the days that you actually go in.
And you get some work done.
You actually get some work done and nobody's like pulling you aside. It's like quiet. And then, you cut out a little early maybe because it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm. No one's paying attention.
Yeah, and then you take Wednesday off. So I'm probably going to take that Wednesday off.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go wheeling on Monday anyway.
No.
So yeah, maybe I'll let people know through the normal channels if we're going to do it.
Are you available Monday, Jose?
Yeah, I am. I don't have anything planned this weekend.
Okay.
As of now.
Oh, just the weekend that we have actually something going on.
Yeah, because his social caucus is also available on the weekend.
Social caucus. I like it, dude. I like that.
No, because you say it wrong.
Yeah,
you intentionally say it wrong.
Oh,
and it
no,
makes it
I'm not
worse.
saying it wrong. You just got to think about that. What is that? I don't know. Use your imagination, social caucus. I think I ran into some social caucus down in L.A. a couple years ago. I was driving
Bro,
through
I've been
there.
part of that committee since 1995, dude.
There's a lot of social caca going downtown. That's for sure.
Yeah, there is.
Stupid. What else is going on? Anything? Any other?
That's conversations like that when people at work go, "Oh, should I download the podcast?"
Yes.
No, the fuck
No,
you shouldn't.
no.
Yes, please.
We were talking about
Please
this
don't.
earlier. When we tell people, like, yeah, oh, you're on a podcast? Yeah, but you shouldn't listen.
Yeah,
People think,
exactly.
like, we're being like, he's trying to be funny. Like, no,
please
don't listen.
Yeah.
I was on a job interview for a position that I'm trying to get, and the HR lady was like, "Oh, I saw that you have a podcast. I haven't listened to it yet." I said, "Please don't, please don't. I really want this job. I do not need you listening to the podcast and judging me on
I don't
what
like
we
telling people I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, it's there some of the jobs I was applying for, it was on my resume as part of the
job,
creative
yeah,
marketing, producing things. And then I have like 6 resumes depending on what I'm applying for. So on some of the other ones I take it off, but it's still on my LinkedIn profile, so it's pretty easy to find.
So at the office, you guys know I have those baseball cards of me, like from
Dodger
from the camp.
Dodger camp.
Yeah, and I found, I handed out like 5. They gave me 50. So like,
Why don't we have one?
Yes.
I don't know.
Why is that not your avatar
Yeah, why
on
is it
every
on
social
everything?
media?
How
a
come we
good
don't
point.
have like a Trail Chaser shirt of Matt's
Yeah,
baseball?
of Matt.
Oh, that'd be rad. So
In 70s style baseball.
that's right. Like it's pretty sweet. And so one day I just went in. The day before, I think I handed out a bunch of Trail Chaser stickers to the guys. Like, hey, here you go. They put them on their helmet. It's like, it's cool. And then I just, like an idiot, like, hey guys, I have baseball cards too, and I signed them like I was, Matt the Hammer. They've since blown up that baseball card to like,
Yeah, do you set
11
yourself
by
up?
7.
You set yourself up.
You know what?
dude.
It's good because I use it as like a I see, because especially the sheet metal guys, they just have. I can't even say the things they have on their wall. But I'll go, how come my baseball card moved lower than that, the picture of that?
The Makita calendar?
Well, yes. Or there was an old photo of like somebody like in kind of like a cholo pose or something, It's like, how come I'm below him now? Oh, no, he just said some really funny, cool shit, or whatever. So there's every time I go in there, like I notice that it's like, how I'm viewed. Am I good this week with the guys or not? Judging on how high, it's like a rating wall. So,
yeah, I'm sure that there's plenty of things on the sheet metal.
oh my God, dude. I can't I don't even want to say it because it's like it's hilarious.
There's plenty of people.
Afterward, I'll say it. I'll say like some of the stuff.
No,
it's pretty good.
No. Okay. Well, then I mean, we don't really have a lot of other than the Grimace Shake and the Cave Adventure thing and Caucasus. We didn't have really much else planned for this evening. So
what about next week?
What about next week?
We're not doing a show.
Yeah,
next week.
I intentionally didn't schedule an interview for the 4th because of the if I won't be.
If you want, you can interview me.
Yeah.
Poolside chat.
See how that goes.
Caucus chat.
We may
Caucus chat.
We may be able to pull something together or do like a best of clips, but I don't know if I have time to do it, and I'm not being sarcastic. I've got other things I got going on.
I have that list of clips.
Shoot me the list. I'll see if I can pull it together.
Okay.
I don't think you've sent it to me yet.
I thought I did.
Maybe you did. I don't know.
That's when he was writing stuff down. He's like, I have it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now everything's dude. I have it on my phone right here, bro.
Okay.
Everything. I don't even do paper, Jose. Electric vehicles and digital note taking. Microsoft One. So
Microsoft what?
One.
What the hell is that?
Exactly.
OneNote.
OneNote.
Yeah,
Exactly.
not OneNote.
Well, I was holding off to see if he caught that. And thanks.
You're like the actual OS one? Like,
Yes, a version 1. What was the Microsoft one? The Microsoft OS that was you're in a room. It was the interface was a picture. The desktop was a picture of like your room, your office. And like, if you wanted to get your documents, you had to go click on the document. No, you don't remember that? Oh, it's like the biggest failure in operating system history.
Oh.
Anyways,
is that why you don't use Microsoft?
No, that was before my time. That was even before my time. XP was kind of the beginning of my my Windows time. No, I take it back. We had a Commodore 128 in high school when I was a kid.
I was going to go back to Atari 2600.
Yeah, Atari.
I had one of those.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we got all of the junior high school humor out of our system in the last 20 minutes, I think that we are done for the evening. Thank you to Fred for joining us. Again, come out to the Cape Toyota event on July 9th. And if anybody's interested in going wheeling, you know how to find me. I'll let you know what's going to happen.
Have a happy 4th.
Have a happy 4th. Everybody be safe.
4 to 5.
Come home with all of your digits.
You guys want to see Warzone? Go to Fontana.
Yes.
It's already started, actually.
Yes.
It has.
Yeah, I feel like over the next couple of days here, it's going to start, and it's going to piss me off. So, all right, everybody. Thank you
You just
so
don't love America enough.
I do. I just
You don't love America as much.
I just don't. Well, it's not America's birthday on the 30th.
But you can start celebrating. Like, absolutely. It's like Oktoberfest. Like, they already start in August, you know?
Yeah, it start now.
Yeah. Like,
Other things get a whole month. Why not the,
4th of July, yeah. Why don't we celebrate why don't you celebrate America's birthday?
Apparently, I'm going to Huntington to celebrate America's birthday this year.
for a whole month?
But not by choice. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the chat room. Thank you to Fred, and we will talk to you next week.